Hello friends, today we will learn how we can use Liferay service in our MVC Portlet. So in last tutorial we have already learned how to create a sample MVC Portlet. So this is the same Portlet which we are going to use for further modification, where we will use Liferay service. Some out of the box Liferay service is available, and we will use that users local service to get some user information and display in our sample portlet that we have already deployed. Here is that. So right now only static content is being shown in our portlet, but now we will do some backend processing and then send some data to the front end. So to access any service in Liferay 7, we need to create a reference to that service, the whichever service that we are going to access. So for that we need to use the reference annotation. So this reference annotation is already there in this package, component annotations, just like we have this component annotation. Okay, so first what we will do, we will create a service, means using this annotation to get access to the local service, user local service. So here you can see I have created a method called set user local service, and in that method the name is set user local service. I have set the variable, the user local service util, which I have created above. So here you can see I have created one private variable user local service, and to initialize that service I have created one method set user local service, which is created using reference. So we are referring to Liferay's local service using this reference annotation method, and here we are getting the local service and assigning it to this our local variable. Okay, we will create one more method to retrieve the service. It will not do anything, just it will give us access to the service because we have created our service as private. So it is good to have access to such service using our this get user local service method. So I have done, I have moved the variable on top of the class, and then below that I have moved the reference method, and then this get user local service method, in which we are returning the user local service, this one, which is set inside this. So now in our do view method, what we will do, we will use the service, we will get the user local service using this method, which will return us this local object, and then we will call the get users count method. Okay, so here you can see I have stored the value inside num of users, and then we will set this inside the render request. Okay, so inside the method I have just printed a logger statement that this is inside the do view method. Then I have obtained the number of users count, and then I have logged it in the console, and then set the number of users in this variable in the render request. If you don't want to have a separate method called get user local service, then you can omit that, it is not required. So it depends what you want to do. So it is all on you how you want to make access to that. So if we'll do like this, means I have commented this, I am directly making user, I'm setting the user local service in this reference annotation and just making access to this private variable user local service. But it is good habit to get access to that variable using a public method. Now we have done the coding part for the controller. Now what we will have to do, we want to show this in our UI. So for that we will have to make changes to the view.jsp. Right now the view.jsp is having only the caption that is being shown here. We have seen hello from sample JSP. This is present in the language.properties. So what we will do, we will access that num of users variable here using the JSP scriptlet. So here I have created one JSP scriptlet. Inside that I have got the attribute request.get attribute number of users. I will also put some label to that. So this is the key num of user. This is the text that I am going to add. So I have used the Liferay UI message tag to show my constant message, string constant, and I will also declare that or define that key, language key, inside this language.properties. Okay, so num of users property key is having the value num of user and then colon. So we are done with the coding. Now we will deploy it. Go to Gradle task and double click the deploy. So it is showing you the Gradle execution. Build is successful. Now we will copy the jar file from libs folder, copy the jar file and paste it inside the deploy folder. Okay, it is deployed. We'll check the logs. So here you can see processing stopped, started. Now we will refresh the page. So when we refresh the page in the backend, we will see the logs printing the count of users. Here you can see inside do view method is printed and it is showing number of users found equal to 2. Same will be reflected here in user interface. Okay, so here is that hello from sample JSP. This is the same that was appearing before. We have not made any changes to that. We have added this language key which is showing this string label, and this 2 is coming from the variable that we have accessed, the number of users. Okay, so this was an example of explaining how we can make use of service using this reference annotation. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. Thank you. Have a nice day.